It's a Ryan Leslie video I was checking out on Drink Champs, and it's some stuff I want to talk about because the game is changing dramatically. A lot of people been laid off from their label jobs in the past few weeks. You know what I'm saying? So, and they made some good points, especially with Ryan Leslie being who he is. You know what I mean? He started Superphone, which was that first straight to consumer text situation that artists be doing where they like, yeah, text me at my number. Ryan Leslie started that years ago. I want to say more than 10 years ago, for sure.
Major or independent?
Major or independent?
Yeah, me.
Independent.
Okay, your first two albums was on Motown, correct?
Yes.
I did not know he was signed to Motown.
This is me being straight spoiled. It was hard for me to go from a major to independent because I like the Four Seasons.
Is my shit tweaking?
I like, these other shit.
Okay, there we go.
And when
We're
I
back.
went from major to independent, I had to downgrade. I don't know if that's the right word, but
Nigga definitely downgraded.
But I had to downgrade.
Your
some
mind
shit.
it was, yeah.
Yeah, like it was. I had to go back to the Sheraton.
But it was completely different for me. I had like I wasn't a multi-platinum. Like there was a lot of respect for the musicianship, but it wasn't like I was multi-platinum, Billboard #1 hits, and you know records and
it looked like it,
and the hottest, et cetera, et cetera.
No, but it looked like that to us at least.
Oh God.
Maybe it looked like that, but I mean, to be frank, we sold 180,000 records the first
on Motown,
and 60,000 on the second. Now the second one we got nominated for a Grammy, but
that's
not
a lot.
A total of, that's we didn't even, you know.
And still in the era where you had to sell like crazy amount of records, gold and
so
platinum.
You literally, I heard you say this before. But you literally made more money off of your independent albums than you did. Now, is it entirety? How about the tours?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I didn't even tour off of those albums.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
So, like, once we went independent, then I understood, like, okay, this is how we're gonna really get to the money, because that's, I think, what's so opaque. It's very opaque when you're a major label. You're at the major label. Things are paid for, studios paid for, advances paid for, travel is paid for, etc. But then once the sales come in, unless you reach a certain amount, you gotta wait till your next album budget opens up before you get paid again.
It's a bank loan.
I think you had the 80-20 your first deal or something like that.
Something like that. And that's what I'm saying. It's just like, you know, for me, I don't.
So for y'all that don't know, the 80-20 is the standard for like new artists. Meaning 80% of your rights go to the label and 20% of the rights you keep. So that means they're getting 80% of your royalty money.
Like that opacity. I want to have full transparency.
I don't know what that word means. Say that again.
Opacity?
Opacity, nigga.
It's opaque.
What does that mean? Okay, opacity. I gotta use it.
This nigga got hair acting brand new.
I want full transparency, right? And so that was quote unquote none of my business. You know, how much did they make? You know, and so that's why I really wanted to go independent, because I was
that's
like,
wild to say to somebody.
If we sold 180,000 records the first time, how did I only sell? We're in the information age. How did I only sell 60,000 the second time? We should just email everybody who bought the first.
Is that just U.S. sales? Because they could have did that, and like you said, they didn't give you the information. So maybe you sold, because we was hearing the records everywhere. So we had to, maybe they...
I truly believe, man, I think that the records were favorites amongst artists.
Okay, wow.
So if artists were sending around, yo, you heard Ryan's joint, etc., they were favorites. But when I went to Germany, I was not on the radio in Germany. Everything was on little mixtapes. People were spinning it in clubs, etc. But there was that real groundswell of people that's like, yo, I like this music, you know?
One thing that's important to note about this is like Ryan Leslie, when he came out, first of all, he pioneered beat making videos in terms of like it being a thing on YouTube, especially. Like he was the first one to do that. I remember watching his videos in college and me and the homies like, nah, we got to do some shit like this. This nigga's killing it. You know what I mean? But he was signed to Motown, didn't sell a lot of records, didn't really tour like that. he said the sales actually declined. So what that tells me is like, okay, the label probably seen his first album sales. They probably didn't put as much money into it. You see, when he said he asked to see like how the money was being spent, they said you ain't got to worry about it, and it's this, that, and the third. So it's like, yo, they got your career in their hands, and it takes a budget to make someone famous. Like, it takes a huge budget to make someone famous. It takes a huge budget to get you at these radio stations and in these clubs and all this stuff. You know what I mean? So he realized like, okay, I'm getting this advance, I'm getting this money, I'm selling 180,000 records on my first album. The second one, I'm selling half as much. Specifically half, like 80,000 people didn't buy it. And he's like, why don't I just hit the first 180,000 people? So he understands business. First of all, he understands like what is it? Customer what? CRM. He understands CRM and shit. You know what I mean? But this is stuff that they don't want you to know as artists, because if you know this stuff, then you won't need them. So let's continue, ladies and gentlemen.
I remember me asking for like accounting and things like that, and they telling me that the record label said, "Oh yeah, we spent $500 grand in Japan, and we spent 250,000 in Dusseldorf, Germany, and we spent this and
only in Dusseldorf, Joe.
Right. You know Dusseldorf is my favorite place.
The only place
And you don't know if they really spending that money there.
Hamburg, Frankfurt, all that, Berlin and all that. I've been around quite some time. But what I'm trying to say is, when they did that to me, I couldn't. Like, it was, I don't know, I don't want to say it wasn't ordered in back then.
Yes.
I just didn't know about it.
Right.
And there was no way for me to, there was no Instagram. So if they said they had a poster of me in Japan, I had to just take it.
We know now that they were scamming everybody that way.
Right.
Yeah, for real?
Yes, the marketing budgets were all, they were siphoning money like a motherfucker.
This is proven that I got caught.
This is why you love the majors, because the era that you were in was when the record labels were flush with cash. So they didn't make you pay back. They would be like, cool. They would let you off your cut.
It's still flush with cash, though. Let's not get it twisted.
It was crazier back then. The record off of CDs,
I love
those margins back then.
Era.
Listen, me and him argue all the time because he's a super independent guy. Which
I just think that independent, if you want to go to major, be independent first so you can leverage and have a better deal.
Oh, no.
With the machine. You know
See,
what I'm
I feel
Here's-
the opposite.
here's-
You tell me. I feel like you should go major first. Let them spend that budget on you, because they can't never take back your fame.
Yes.
It's not like that now.
Hey, Nori, that's the mentality I have when it comes to this shit. But we gonna talk about that. I'm gonna let them finish talking.
Accounting for every penny.
I'm not a dinosaur, man. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Was it 900 years ago?
But in the terms of the record business, it was.
Yeah. What I'm saying though is I agree. If somebody else is going to spend the money to make you famous, and then you can actually leverage that and make sure you do it the right way.
And you can come out whole.
Yes.
But now, a lot of these artists aren't coming out whole. They're stuck in that now. And these
I don't know
deals.
what you mean. What, in a
They're in
Well,
these
they're
deals,
stuck, so they
spend
can't-
the money.
they
They
can't get
haven't
out.
recouped.
Yeah, they can't get
Oh,
out.
you talking about stuck with the record
Back
label?
then, you could not recoup, and they were doing well. The labels, they could have liked you as an artist. Be like, cool, yeah, no problem, and we'll let you out your deal. Or let this person buy you out your deal. Like, they were making deals left and right.
I don't think as Nori, I never recouped. Capone Noriega, I did. As Nori, I spent so much money. I mean, like, I wanted to.
Nori signs today. He's signing a 360 deal where the name Noriega or Nori is copyrighted by the label.
Yeah.
And when you don't recoup, you can't use that name. You better go on as Sir Francis Jr. the MC.
Yo, that's very, 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 very important. When you sign to these companies, know what the hell you're signing, man. Know what you're signing, and when it comes to your name and your likeness and your trademark and all this stuff. Because let's run that back.
Deal where the name Noriega or Nori is Nori signs today. He's signing a 360 deal where the name Noriega or Nori is copyrighted by the label.
Yeah.
And when you don't recoup, you can't use that name. You better go on as Sir Francis Jr. the MC.
Yo, you sign that 360 deal, you give up your rights. You don't know what you dealing with. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to like law and copyright and all this, you're gonna get screwed, bro, because they will literally own you. The game is ownership, and it's always gonna be ownership. It's always gonna be ownership. Like you gotta think of it like this, man. One record can be licensed 1,000,000 times over and continue to make money. Like Pharrell, Happy, that song is gonna make money until the world no longer exists. And it's like, yeah, bro, they trying to own that shit. So it's like, yo, what DJ EFN said was, build your leverage, then sign, which is very important, because it's like, I remember, I don't know where I heard it, but it was somewhere recently. I think it was an interview or somebody was talking, whatever. But it was like, yo, if you get a hit independently and you make money off that shit, like think of Brent Faiyaz, like she see money all around me. I'm pretty sure he was still independent. You know what I mean? At that time. And it's like, yo, if you get a smash like that independent and all that publishing money, all that royalty money, mechanical licensing fees, and they want to put it in this TV show and they want to use it at this convention and all this, and you just getting all these different checks, man, the game is ownership. So look, if you sign to an 80/20 and they own your name and you start tweeting, oh, I hate my label, these niggas, da, 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 and they're like, oh yeah, nigga, they press the button on your ass. You are theirs. Everything you own is theirs from now on. You like, damn, I'm not seeing no money from my biggest record. Why? Because you signed your name, likeness, and more.
Make a living, buddy.
Oh man, let's get back to quick time. They got spooky.
But even though these labels are crumbling as we see them right now, I think the tech companies are the new record labels, and they're the ones winning.
I think your idea, period, is a new record label for those.
No, well, I'm talking about the bad guys. When I say the bad,
Right.
But imagine we take
The tech companies are.
Concept.
Concept, right? And now you showing people.
Cause look, all this, man, it's always about, yo, I was watching Curtis King interview today where he was talking about the Master P joint, and Master P said the product is always going to outlive the artist, bro. It's always going to outlive the artist. The tech companies are like, they're pairing your music with games, or they're doing this, like, man, all this shit. And the gaming industry, like, that's a whole nother conversation when it comes to this music. You know what I mean? And I want to clarify too, like, I'm gonna start talking about these things because this shit directly affects me, and I know it directly affects a lot of people that I know. You know what I'm saying? And it's since the pandemic started, there's been a lot of like rugs being pulled from under us all the time. Just another rug. Oh, you thought you was comfortable? Give me that shit. You know what I mean? So we gotta equip ourselves, man. For real.
Because even when you was dropping independent, it looked like you was major.
Oh, because we
I watched you in the Breakfast Club and I seen you
we were moving that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
but that's the other piece of it. It requires also the financial infrastructure.
Right.
Because otherwise, like, if you can make $100,000, pay $4,000 a month forever, then that means you can make $1 million, pay $40,000 a month forever. Right? So that's really, once you have both the business infrastructure and the financial infrastructure, then it becomes an infinite loop. Right. And that infinite loop is really that's really what an artist needs to be able to say, like, you know what, I want to go record my next album in France somewhere. You know, like the Rolling Stones did it.
In France?
Yeah.
I want to record my album in London. We getting a lot of commercials today, goddamn.
You're not ready for it.
All right, we almost done with this, and then I'm playing PUBG.
I think you being as smart as you are, right? You having this
My leg
early
is fucked
idea
up,
that's
y'all.
fucking genius. We all know it's genius, and we all know if it works, when it works, how the artist can benefit off of this. Right now, radio is still important, right? I told this to Fat Joe the other day. I was like, yo, if I was to ever drop a record again, you're gonna work my radio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Like him. Like,
right, yeah.
No, I don't want you to hire somebody, Joe.
Yeah,
I want you. You know every PD from he's put in 27 to more years.
Right.
He put in that work.
Where Joe has to fight. He did it. I feel like that's the future. Like when the concept that you have for artists working for other artists, and artists are saying, I always love Violator for that. Violator was like artists managing artists.
Yes.
Chris Lighty was like an artist to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I think this is going. Like, I know it's sounding so minute, but I feel like Fat Joe will be running ahead of the radio department. See how he just dropped the record just now, and the shit just went through everywhere. It was everywhere. Not because he's my friend. This shit was just everywhere. And I'm like, he knows what he's doing. I think eventually we're gonna hire ourselves to do the work on your platform. You think it's gonna go that way? Let me speak it to existence.
I would like to see that.
That would be dope.
What I will say though is, just as you said, there will be other iterations of platforms for folks to actually communicate with their fans.
Yeah. Right.
I think the money piece is more of an issue. Because the money piece is what people, even like you said, when we started this conversation, you said, oh, I didn't know there was something that could do that, right? And so I feel as though, for me, even moving from music to technology is because I felt like I could serve a wider tranche of the population.
Tranche?
That nigga Nuri trying to learn every word he say. I feel him.
Googling all day.
Right. So I think
got the spread.
I think now you're right. But the ability for money management from the concept of what artists really like, because we, like you said, we like the Four Seasons. We like the, if we can
I love luxury.
Charter, we like to fly charter. If we could go vacation, we could go on a destination recording. We rather do that than the bedroom.
I would love to do a destination. So that's my angle with this. Like, I'm not trying to sign to nobody's like 80-20 contract, because I've done so much on my own. I've done films on my own. I've financed all this stuff by myself. And you know what I'm saying? Like, over the years, like, all the debt that I've accumulated, it's like, it's crazy, but it's like, I believe in myself, so I don't even give a fuck. You know, I mean, I give a fuck, but I know that this shit's gonna pay off very, very, very soon, if not tomorrow. But what I'm gonna say is, like, I want to work with bigger companies and do. Okay, all right, let me start over. The way I really want to, like, maneuver this shit that I'm doing is like, yo, I want to be a part of not just being an artist, but like, I want to do TV shows. Like, I want to write TV shows. I want to write films. Like, me doing the short films, that's just me practicing my hand at, like, all the things I'm doing. So I'm saying all that to say, like, that's my angle in it. Like, I want to work with these bigger companies and work with Netflix, and they let me do a little film to go with an album type shit. You know what I'm saying? And be the first one to do it, because that's the bar for me, bruh. Like, Prince set the bar on a different stratosphere, my nigga, because it's like, this man had the #1 album and the #1 film with Purple Rain at the same time, bro. Come on. At the same damn time. Come on, bro. That's the ball. That's the ball. So I'm gonna continue, and then we about to get into this
Somebody
PUBG.
who's professional in that position, it's like you're still independent, but you got somebody else helping and saying, yo, listen, we got to make it to Cosmic Cav at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
He's going to pull our record if we don't do it. If you have somebody who has that experience, I think, why wouldn't you do that? I think that's the only thing that's missing from this beautiful idea. It's like, you know what? It might be really us running us. And when I say us, I don't mean race.
Right.
I mean the people that's a part of the culture. You understand what I'm saying? It's like,
it's important.
Yeah, it's super important. I think we should make some noise for that. Okay. I had a moment.
Yo, real quick too. I wanted to show this because I seen Curtis King had Quiz on his podcast, and Quiz, man, This nigga pressed up this is So Volume 1. I did this in Atlanta. He pressed that shit up, sent it to me. I did chapter, which chapter was this? There was chapter 3. Still Dreaming chapter 3. If y'all don't know, basically what I had did was I had this series called Still Dreaming, and basically it was like 4 chapters. I basically dropped one every quarter. So Still Dreaming chapter 3, it was like I was experimenting with more like R&B stuff. In my opinion, you know, for at the moment it was dope, but now compared to what I'm doing, Still Dreaming chapter 3 was trash. You Could Do It Baby was crazy though. That's one of my favorite songs. I should actually play that on here. But yeah, so I've been in this independent shit. I've been slinging out the trunk, baby. You see how I'm rocking. So let's see what else they got to say, and then we gonna get to this pub.
At a moment. Go ahead.
Where are we at here? Okay.
Or they over there snitching on you saying you ain't take the shot. Who?
Illmatic or Ready to Die?
Ooh.
Both.
Okay, yeah. That's a great answer.
He a both ass nigga.
Couple shots over here.
Okay, I think that was it for my man Ryan Leslie, goddamn. I think that was it for my nigga Ryan Leslie, y'all. We gonna give it up for Ryan Leslie one time for the one time. Cause yeah, man. That was just my first reaction. My first little controlled, focused reaction. So we gonna start doing that a little more. Start dedicating whole streams to that shit. And why my shit ended? My shit ended and restarted.